we have to talk about something. And I need to make something very, very clear about Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden was a horrible person. That's the first thing I want to make clear. Osama bin Laden's a fucking horrible, terrible, no good person. Okay. He's up there. He's like class A, absolute asshole, right? Terrible human being. That does not make him, that does not, what do you call? He's still one of the smartest people to have ever existed. He may be a terrible human being, a trash person. He's still one of the smartest people to have ever friggin' existed. I mean, let's look at what this guy did. Look at what this guy did. Hold on 1 second. This dude, Osama bin Laden, was literally running the show of a worldwide terrorist organization. Okay, for almost 15 years, he was orchestrating attacks in third world countries. He even ran the World Trade Center bombing. He took credit for that. He was running attacks all over the freaking globe. And basically, I mean, most foreign intelligence had them on their radar at some point, but they couldn't get to him. He was playing a really, really good game. I mean, they couldn't get to him. He had every foreign intelligence agency after him at some point. I mean, in the 90s even. Like, they kind of knew what was up, and they still couldn't get him. I mean, he ran the show. And let's talk about the people that he convinced to run these attacks. Okay, these weren't just, poor boys that were playing, in the street in Afghanistan and in Yemen and in Saudi. Like, these are smart motherfuckers that he convinced to do these crazy, unheard of, horrible things. Okay? These aren't just like dumb people. These aren't uneducated village boys. These are very, very smart kids. The guys he convinced to run these attacks, to run 9/11. Okay, let me put this into context. 2 of the lead hijackers on 9/11 had master's degrees. I know, like, there are a lot of dumb people with master's degrees out there, for sure. And I'm not trying to, like, hate on the people that do have master's degrees. I know a lot of people that have master's degrees. But this guy convinced people with, I'm trying to point out that these guys had book smarts. They were working professionals in Europe. A lot of them were working at architecture firms, electrical engineers. Like, I'm talking like these were working normal people who were working 9 to 5s, had advanced degrees, grew up in pretty secular households. It wasn't like they're also like their households were super religious. Like, their parents, like, one of the main hijackers grew up in Egypt in like a secular Muslim household where he was basically exposed to a lot of things. His parents drank. They weren't like the most, super conservative Muslims. They were very progressive Muslims. So, like, I mean, in terms of that, he was able to convince people who had pretty big worldviews to do crazy shit, which, I mean, you have to have a tremendous power of language, a tremendous power of persuasion to be able to do all that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a single person that could do that in today's society. I really don't. But anyway, that was all before 9/11, and he encouraged these attacks. And then post 9/11, let's talk about Osama bin Laden post 9/11. The American government has spent to this day, 2021, so, has spent $1 trillion. $1 trillion. Trillion. I'm telling $1 trillion. It's the most expensive war ever to have ever existed in Afghanistan. They spent $1 trillion in Afghanistan. Okay. And they'd spent money and resources and gave the Afghani troops whatever they wanted and everything that you could ever imagine. But for 10 years, 2001 to 2011, Osama bin Laden ran all over the Middle East, ran away from the American government, ran, and played this country like a freaking fiddle. He did, and he played most of it foreign intelligence agencies. At that point in 2001, everybody was after him. He took advantage of political relationships with Pakistan to stay there. He took advantage of the corrupt nature of Afghanistan to find places where he could hang out there. Like, not every dude could do this. Like, not every ordinary, like, human being could find a way to manage to escape multiple foreign intelligence agencies who are dumping millions and trillions of dollars into finding you. And he did it for 10 years. He did it for 10 whole years before the CIA and SEAL Team 6 finally got him. he did that. I mean, you have to admit, like, not every human being would be able to do that. Like, not every smart person would be able to be like, oh, or like not every like normal human being would be able to run away from America, would be able to convince very smart, you know, uh big worldview, open-minded guys to do terrorists to commit these horrible atrocities in society. I mean, he did a lot. Osama bin Laden did a lot. But that does not take away from the fact that he is an absolutely trash human being. And I want to make that evidently clear. He is a horrible person. There is no doubting that. It's bin Laden, Saddam, Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Benito Mussolini, probably all in that class of just the worst human beings to have ever existed. I'm sure there's more, right? Cecil Rhodes, maybe. There's a few more who are in that class A of horrifyingly terrible human beings. Osama bin Laden is one of those people. But he's also one of the smartest people to have ever lived. I mean, that's a take. That's a take. Do with it what you will. But that's how I feel when it comes to Osama bin Laden and all of the things that he's done. Speaking of Osama bin Laden,